What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's Single Roleplayer here once again, and today I'm going to talk about the last new skill that I've been interested in the Heist League and a 3.12 expansion, and this is the Void Sphere. And what this thing does, it creates a void sphere which hinders enemies in an area around it, which the debuff being stronger on enemies closer to this field. So it kind of creates a real black hole and sucks in enemies there. It also regularly pulses and does area damage. So the void sphere will consume the corpses as well of an enemies which die in its area. Can only have one void sphere at a time. So what I have here is a beefy level 22 Void Spear. As you can see, it deals about 300 to 450 physical damage. It also has the Chaos tag as well. And as you can see, it's an interesting skill. So what it does is basically this. Creates the Void Sphere, it pulses, it sucks in enemies and debuffs them for the movement speed penalty. What can I say about this skill? Well, the first thing is that it's a big cooldown based skill. It has a massive 10-second cooldown, which makes it practically like non-spammable. It's just impossible to spam the skill. What I did, I actually invested in a shit ton of cooldown. Unfortunately, there's no cooldown based helmets on standard with a cooldown enchant for the Void Sphere, but I created the 20% cooldown recovery rate Stygian wise, and I also crafted the perfect 15% cooldown shaper boots. So I have about 6-second cooldown time on the Void Sphere, which allows me to effectively spawn one Void Sphere after the other, because the duration is about 5 seconds. So you can see my cooldown is almost finished and I can spawn another one. So I can practically clear maps with this Void Sphere, and I will show you guys how it works in the actual tier 16 map. This is tier 16 Jungle Valley, guys, and you will see how the clear speed and the bossing damage is. Right, guys, and this is a showcase of a tier 16 Jungle Valley on standard. This is a very beefy map with Awakening 8, so this is the hottest, toughest mobs possible. And as you probably can see, the Void Sphere actually kills things just fine. Even the rares and the uniques get sucked in and practically just being completely destroyed. So there is actually a fantastic solution for clearing, but it sucks in the enemies just fine, kills them. They also destroy the corpses, which is amazing because it will prevent all detonate dead ethics and on death ethics and like corpse detonation for the beyonds and shit. This is actually very useful. It sucks in pretty much everything inside, and I can run around and just spawn the void spheres one after the other. There's kind of a bit of a problem. First of all, you still have to run around because the cooldown is massive. It's like you can do one attack every 6 seconds, so it's definitely not spammable, and it's kind of a risky because you can get surrounded and just die, which happened to me quite a bit of times. And the second problem is definitely the bossing damage, and I will come to the boss right now. I want to show you guys how much damage it does. The skill is definitely not intended for what I do in the video because it's just has very little base damage. I mean, it's like 450 max damage on the level 22 gem. It's not on 22 gem, so that's kind of the highest possible normal gem you can get on that. So it's definitely not intended for clear, and what I wanted to see here is I wanted to see does it reliably can clear high content. And I mean, I have 2 void batteries once again, guys, to explain you what gear I have. I have low life occultist here with a lot of damage, debuffs, curses, and I have low life spec with 9 power charges, which gives me a lot of crit multiplier. So as you can see, I can barely scratch the boss on tier 16 with that amount of damage, simply because the damages in Path of Building is about 300k under 9 power charges, which is very little amount of damage. And yeah, bosses have been dramatically buffed over the last year. The HP has been increased, and especially on the Awakening 8, the HP just crazy. So unfortunately, as a bossing skill, this absolutely 100% failure. Even Impending Doom and specifically Hex Blast can be used as a bossing skill. Hex Blast is actually not that terrible, but this one you just can't. Where you can use this skill is you can put it on a cast when damage taken, with, let's say, Immortal Call, and trigger the Void Sphere just to debuff the enemies for the movement, which is actually pretty amazing. It works wonders at sucks in enemies, and don't forget that it just destroys corpses, which is absolutely very useful for destroying different on the ground on death ethics like the explosions. So on a cast when damage taken, Void Sphere is very useful. As a clear speed option also can be done, especially on the lower tiers, but for bosses you just have to use something else, guys. This is my thoughts on the Void Sphere. I hope you like my showcase video, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.